But yeah, this top middle, this bottom middle tournament is so we're 48 of 213, only just started, obviously just above start stack, but 21k up top. So, and very, very soft field for a 320 because it's during the day. Most regs are fast asleep or out partying or something. I don't know. Yeah. 10 of 10. We need to really go on a run here, don't we? We need to just go on some sick heater. Just own souls, but it's hard with M4 to do that. At least we have 7 minutes until the next level. And we do have a nice hand top left here with the ace 2-4 queen because we've got the nut low draw. We've got the second kicker with the ace. This is a very important component of the hand is the top side card with the ace. That will add a lot of EV. So if someone has ace king here, they have a lot better equity for the high than us. But you know, we're short. This guy's only limped. I'm just going to definitely shove this in. It's a nice hand. And we have the 4 as backup. It's really got all the components that you want from a hand, and this guy has just had an aneurysm and somehow calls with 2399. 2399. That'd probably be in that spot. That's probably like calling it all in at that stack depth in no limit with like a king 4 or something. Maybe worse actually. It's probably like a jack 6. Maybe a jack 5 suited. He just calls a jam there. That's kind of how bad these guys are. Yeah. I mean, the 9 is just... 9s are the worst card in the deck. 9s are just so bad to have. Yeah. And he's opened with it. I mean, he's limped with it and then called the jam, so... You can clearly see what he's thinking, though, and it's exactly what I was saying before. I mean, he's thinking, well, I've got 2-3, so I can make a low, and I've got a pocket pair, so, you know, how bad can it be? But in reality, in that spot, it's very bad, because I'm likely dominating him with a low. I mean, 9s is just... I mean, you know, how good is that hand in Omaha when you're trying to make a high, and someone jams on you and you've got 2-3-9-9? You know, if you've played any Omaha, you don't have to be a genius to work out that that is a pretty lousy hand. I think I'm just going to raise here because this hand's probably a little bit too strong to just jam. And I think it's time here just to jam here. He's only cut off. It's kind of annoying though because I just kind of feel like he's not going to have complete air raising into these short stacks, but wow, it's just, I don't know. I mean, we're so short, it's probably an easy jam. I'm probably making too big a deal out of this, but I just feel like he might have ace 8 or something, or queens. 3 ball, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I did kind of feel that he might have that sort of hand because he was raising into short stacks. But at the same time, as the shortest stack against a player from the cutoff who, you know, I mean, doesn't have to have that sort of hand. We were kind of unlucky, but I did kind of use the force, I think, a little bit there and just sense it that he had a hand. And ace deuce, you know, I mean, it's not overly pretty. Yeah, I don't know. It just felt a bit dirty jamming it. It did feel a bit dirty. It would have felt good if he had a snap folded, but like I said, I just kind of had a bad feeling about that. But, I mean, he's in the cutoff. We're short a stack. I want to see a replay, though. See it. Yeah, we're only M3, man. It's just... He's 2 M3 and the cutoff opens for a min. I mean... Wow. It'd be a pretty strict fold, I think. I mean, it really would be, but... it just felt dirty, but I mean, it's okay, I think, but... It's probably pretty standard, but it just kind of felt dirty. Yeah. I mean, normally when players raise into that's these stack sizes, they're planning on calling a lot of the time. And, you know, if he is planning on calling, ace deuce is just a hand that doesn't do well. kind of hypothesizing here. There is a player, decent player with a similar name, but I'm pretty sure this is not him. And that might make me feel a little bit better. Bottom right here, I'm obviously just going for max value and just hoping he's just got a hand he doesn't fold. And top left, obviously something tragic happened. So I think I'm just going to shove now, and I think he's got ace jack. He could have ace 10, ace king. Yeah, we have the ace of diamonds, which is kind of a good card to have. He might just think we're just crazy bluffing with missed hearts or something. It is a big 2750, so he could be a massive whale. And I'm just going to pop that guy's name in Shark Scope because I just want to have a little peekaboo and see. Make sure it's not the player I'm thinking of. I'm really just trying to make myself feel better here by hoping that he's a bit of a fish, and then the jam probably is much more better, much more better. Yeah. So there it is. Oh, okay. He's good. Yeah, makes me feel worse. Makes me feel a little bit worse there, actually, when I think about it. Yeah, it kind of makes me feel a bit worse. His ability 96, up profit 150, volume, it's about half, or less than half I've done. Yeah, I mean, you know, actually, I mean, there is a decent player. I know there's a decent player with that name. I actually think it's actually just a guy with a similar name. Machiavelli or something. There's the other guy similar. So I'm pretty sure I've got the other guy noted though, I would think. But maybe that is him because he's got the shark and he is up a fair bit and high ability. So obviously plays high buy-ins and gets scores. That's what the ability really refers to there. So, you know, you could have an $11 buy-in guy that crushes, but he's not going to have a very high ability. Whereas you might have a guy that just plays 100 rebuys and stuff that does pretty well, and he's going to have a much higher ability because they do base it very heavily on the ABI. Well, not the ABI, but just the scores that you've had. What was the buy-in? As opposed to, you know, if you're trying to hunt for TLBs on PokerStars, they don't care about the buy-in. They only care about the field size. So it's quite a different system. And then you've got Pocket Fives, which awards players points. The website Pocket Fives, and they're sort of somewhere in between. But obviously kind of a different thing compared to SharkScope. Wow, set action. So I guess I'm just going to bet. It's probably, I mean, I could probably bet a little bit bigger here because I think a king is always calling, and you know, we can go a little bit lower and try and keep in. I think I'm going to jam here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Excuse me. It doesn't feel that good just jamming, but I think I will. I mean, we're only M9, but so it's completely okay against this guy who's pretty loose. But I'm just wondering if 3-betting or you know, just calling, if there's anything else we can do that's better, but maybe not. I mean, we're already M9 and we've got 10s against a kind of loose opener, so it's fine. It's just that, you know, if we get called behind, we're going to be crushed a lot. And he's going to fold a lot too, so. But the 3-bet against the UTG opener, I mean, that looks crazy strong as well, so. You know, there's no way we can feign weakness in that spot. You know, and calling is kind of asking for trouble because we leave the fish in, and then one player might come in behind, or the big blind. You know, he's really likely to call them with the pot odds he'd be getting, and we only have tens. So there's going to be overcards a lot, and then what could have been a nice clean situation like it was could turn into some ugly situation where we just start donking stacks or chips around. I guess I'm going to fold up here. And top right I probably should have defended. And top middle I just really don't know what to do. I guess calling and evaluating. Just need to keep our eyes open here too, because this is a sort of spot where if we get a nice turn card, sometimes we can donk, lead as a bluff, and well, I guess it would kind of be a semi bluff technically, and I think get a lot of credit. Wow. We can just get to showdown and hit a 9. It's the other way of doing it. But yeah, I mean, you definitely want to be on the lookout for, you know, the opportunity to turn your hand into a bluff always. And that was a kind of good example of where a lot of the times they're multi-way, we don't have the best hand when we call. But am I going to ISO here? Yeah, I'm going to ISO there. Slightly risky. Ever so slightly risky that the small blind might have a hand, but it's not going to happen very often. And the big blind's just going to have a pretty wide range. We could even be dominating him, so I didn't really want to fold there. I just take that aggressive line there and just isolate. I don't know why I'm bringing that in. Yeah, I mean, he's like M23, M23, so it's a bit risky. But at the same time, you know, I'm just trying to be Pac-Man. I'm just trying to eat chips. Just trying to gobble up chips. He's only M3 and a bit, so I mean, he can have anything. If this small blind is clever, I mean, he can sometimes just call there and just pray that the big blind does what he did. And that's certainly something I'd, you know, be aware of. Because then you can snap call and wake up with kings and queens, aces, and pick up a massive pot. If you know what I mean. I mean, the small blind, he might anticipate that the big blind's short and he's going to be jamming at a reasonable frequency. And that being the case, he might say, well, I'll take a bit of a risk here with my kings and just call and hope that happens, and then hope that Acesup goes for the isolation and I can just snap his face off with kings. I'm just going to fire half pot, top right, and just hope that he's got something that will give us chips. It's a pretty good turn card in terms of our hand's strength. But at the same time, it's probably a pretty scary card for him. And so I'm just thinking, unless he's got clubs, obviously, or king 10, so just thinking if we should. I think I'm going to bet again here pretty big and just hope that, I mean, I think that he's got hands that can call, and he might even sometimes have ace 10 or ace 9 and just float it, or he might just not be able to fold queen 10 or king queen. And that's why I did that. But yeah, I mean, 3-13. It's pretty close. I mean, if he's the sort of player that's a bit more floaty and creative, I know we might check and hope he turns his hand into a bluff or something if he's got, like, you know, sixes. But I just don't really see that happening often enough in that spot against some guy there, unknown. Not that I know many players on Triple Eight poker. Bottom middle, I think I'm going to fold here. I do have to keep in mind too that that is the 320 Wednesday. I mean, there's still a lot of donks in there, but at the same time, it's more likely a guy's being a little bit more careful because of the price, you know, the buy-in compared to $11.20, where a guy might just donk off randomly. It's less likely in the 320 a guy will just donk off randomly, but you do still see it. And I would love another coffee, but Gene Grey. I think we're going to call here. And I just hope the other guys fold. It's a little bit risky again, but we just have him outflopped so often with the 3-ball. Yeah, I think Daniel's just going to spice this one up. It's a spicy meatball. Yeah, I mean, that Gene Grey there is just jamming everything. He's so short. 6-8 suited. So ace-3 is way ahead of his range. It's a little bit risky because the guys behind, if they jam on us, we're folding. Especially if this guy jams, it's just gross. To use a high school word. Well, at least I used to use that word in high school anyway. This bottom left table is kind of freaking me out a bit. This guy out of position called the 3-bet, and he's got stats that suggest he's just a massive fish. But at the same time, he's just donked out half our stack on a queen high board, so there's really not too much we can do. I think jamming would be quite suicidal. It just seems like everyone's a fish, doesn't it? And actually, they probably are. Except for this guy, T54T97 from Portugal. He's very good. And What a Monster, top left, is pretty good. And I'm sure there's a few guys, you know, tucked in there that are pretty decent. This guy's pretty decent, Inca Bars, however you want to say that. And but it's really whale time, isn't it? It's whale season. It's late in the afternoon. Well, it's in my afternoon anyway. It's still, well, it's not late. It's midday, but it just means it's just soft times, and not only that, you know, just coming up to, I think it's just the time of year as well. It's just a real marshmallow fest. There's a lot of live events on that might attract regs, and I don't know, people just get a bit burnt out from playing so much during the year and all of that sort of stuff. And the doors, just the floodgates open and money just comes flying at you. It's like one of those game shows where the person's in like a tank and there's money being blown around by fans and you've got to try and grab it. It really is the same sort of thing when you're playing online poker, you know, in the afternoon, and especially later or earlier in the year. And you just got to make sure you're there, you know, you just got to hold your hands out, or if you have a bucket or a wheelbarrow, some sort of scoop, whatever you've got. You just got to hold it out and try and catch some, because it just pours everywhere. And so that's what we're trying to do here, is catch some, but haven't really been able to grab too many bills so far. So we're going to have to try and do something here. This table here, bottom middle, I mean, I've just played this very straightforwardly, check call, check call, check call, and I just don't think we can fold at this point. Getting this price with the hand this strong. But at the same time, I mean, it didn't really look like he was going to have many bluffs there. So it looked like, you know, the hand he had, or maybe spades, were very possible. But I think we couldn't quite fold the... I think if we didn't hit the jack on the river, you know, I think folding would definitely have been quite reasonable. But once we hit the jack, I just think top two there is a little bit hard to fold, getting the price we were getting against a guy we don't know about. I could go either way, top left, but I will ISO. And you know, when he shows a hand like that, I mean it's obviously good because of the dead money that's already in there. You know, from the blinds and antes is quite considerable when you're only talking about an M4 stack or whatever it was that he had there. Top right, big blind's pretty loose. 3 bets a little bit, so I'm just going to fold. And King 4 on the button. I mean, not a lot of leverage to get, and I just think it's probably not quite necessary. Oh, I don't know what's wrong with my shoulder. Oh, I think I get a massage or something. I'm going to isolate this guy here. Seems to make sense. This is a pretty good hand, so I mean we could even probably call. Here, and because we don't mind so much. Well, I mean it's not great, but you know, multi-reaction King 10 suited is not. Well, actually, yeah, it's not that good. What am I talking about? It's not great. Yeah, let's just get a heads up and flop the nuts. I mean, it's the best play is to just flop the nuts. So just bet an amount where he might call with any ace and any queen, and I think he's even going to call that price with like 10 jack and jack 9 and stuff like that. He might even call on a gutser, like if he's got king 9 or 8 10 would be double belly. 3 4 5 6. Wow, that's kind of close. I'm going to fold it. Wow, what the hell? So it's just a matter of now trying to make sure we can get the stacks in by the river. So I'm going to go with like that much. This guy's just raised $1 billion, hasn't he? 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think I'm just going to shove on him anyway. But it's not awesome. But it, you know, 7's in that spot. It's okay. I think in this spot we just jam and then very quickly throw this guy a trophy. Like that. Yeah. The 8-10 got there. And we said it's one of the hands he might have. The double belly. And yeah, I mean, just he's drawing to a split and just loving life, giving us chips in the process. Yeah, I mean, there's no point sugarcoating it there. You know, it's limp with the 8-10 offsuit, was it? And then just calling out a position. It's just not a strategy that's going to work out. You know, and he did kind of get his just desserts. For being a fish. And let's just hope we keep flopping big, because that makes the whole process a lot easier when we just flop the nuts. And we have a pretty good chip lead in that tournament now. 1 of 53, long way to go, and yeah, but decent stack to work with, so that's good. And probably don't need to do anything too crazy. 6. Probably don't need to do anything too crazy in that one, because the players are gonna maybe, well, most likely, just give us chips. This is a very cheeky play here that I've gone for, the bottom right. Zhao has a decent range from there. I mean, it's not too crazy, but it's pretty, well, I wouldn't say it's pretty wide, but it's wide enough. I'm just kind of ripping the nuts, bottom right. You know, this is a 3-bet that I would make with aces, kings, queens. And I think we can fold out things like ace-jack. And he definitely has like ace-8 suited. He probably has a lot of suited aces and some broadways and lots of pairs. And even though his range is not that wide from there, it's one of those situations where we actually fold out a lot of a fairly tight range. And so that works out okay. Because we're quite short, you know, so we had a really good stack size to make that play. Because we were quite short, and it looks like we kind of had the nuts in that instance. And if you had a jammed, I was going to fold. So, but I think it works often enough there. Wow, I don't think we can fold. He does have the 6. Yeah, I mean, this guy's just... Yeah, I mean, I think players just barrel there a little bit too often. Loose cannons. It might have been a bit loose. I was a bit under the pump from the time bank. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't be just loose, but this guy's been playing 50% of hands so far, 6 of 12, so that's what prompted me to make the call, is just that he can kind of have anything. And I mean, he did. He had king 6 off, but he happened to hit it on the river. But I'm pretty sure he's probably going to fire anyway if he misses. But, you know, I might be wrong. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he gives up. But, you know, I don't think players normally give up in that spot when they know they have to bet to win. And... yeah, king 9, interesting. I don't think we can fold quite yet. But it's definitely, this is a very sort of awkward stack size to work with, and putting ourselves in a bit of a difficult spot now. Any 7s are straight, Jack Queen gets there. I don't think 3-way it's the sort of hand that I want to try and represent. It's kind of close, but excuse me. The problem is it's just a few too many draws, and it's too much of our stack. I mean, we can fire half pot, but I mean, it puts us in a tough spot because a jack might call, spades are going to call, hearts might going to call, some other hands might believe us and call. And someone could still have the nuts after all, so just trying to get to showdown, hoping to see, you know, this guy just betting with like king queen on a gutser, and this guy just having jack 9 or 8 jack. Or what else can he have that we can beat? Not much. Not much. We're drawing... yeah, I mean, this would take some luck for us to actually have the best hand here, I guess, but not impossible. I think I'm just going to shove that one. 714, 20, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty easy shove, but just working out if it's the best option. And the ace-jack... yeah, I was going to pop... I was really in two minds. I don't mind that I folded it. I was really kind of torn. Wow. Is that limp there? This is really risky, but I think I'm going to actually call here. This is pretty gross. I thought that we might get another call like we did, maybe even one more. It's the implied odds are not super there, so just thinking if we have to call bottom left, I think we can fold. What does he call flop with? Can he have 2 pair? Can he have 8 and 9? Can he have jack queen? Yes. Can he have a 7s? Can he have 7s? Or 6 7? Probably can. 9 7. I think we're gonna have to fold up there. Yeah, I guess he can. What else can he have? Can he just be bluffing? Can he ever be bluffing here? Can he have missed hearts? I don't think he ever bets with worse. King Queen is probably all we really beat. Ace Deuce of Hearts. I just think there's probably not quite enough hands here that we're beating. But I think that, yeah, I mean, just the fact that it was, you know, 2 players that he was bluffing into as well. And I mean, his bet size was such that it kind of looked like he was more hedging towards value. Wow, give me the King Queen back. Or not. Yeah, that Ace Jack before, I was just like, I mean, the guy looked so nutty when he raised. Because he's short and he just opens, it looks like he's raising to not fold. But you know, you did see me try and make it 12.50. So I decided in the end, like, yeah, you know, he just, I mean, it's just a tight fold with Ace Jack. But I mean, honestly, players with this stack size, I mean, when they're just raising and not open jamming, if they've got a clue, I mean, they normally got hands that want action, and that's why I was hesitant, because I thought he might have, you know, Jacks plus and Ace King, because some players will only make this raise with those types of hands. Because if he's got a hand like Ace 8 or like Pocket Deuces, why is he raising and not just jamming? You know, he should just be jamming those hands. And so I probably read way too much into it, and should have just said, hey, he's probably a fish, and we've got Ace Jack, which is a good hand. Let's get it in there. I did go to make it 12.50. What would have happened at that point is this guy would have then jammed on us, and we would have been getting ridiculous pot odds. Having said that, we still probably could have folded because he just looked like he would have us crushed a lot. And he did, so it actually worked out for the best. So we kind of, in a way, I guess, got a bit lucky there, because I did in the very last minute decide, hey, let's just get it in for, you know, just go to make it 12.50. So, and that's it for this level, guys. I'll be right back. Actually, I might take a little bit of a break, guys, and bring you more action when we're on the final table, perhaps, or getting a little bit deeper in a couple of these.